All right, next big event. We are, most of you are probably familiar with FPC's missions program. Like we place a high value on building long-term relationships with international local church leaders and congregations. And so over the years, our high schoolers in particular, we usually about every other year we do a big international mission trip. And a number of times, the ones I've been involved with, we've taken high school youth and gone to like Guadalajara, Mexico, and we go down there and it's not your typical short-term mission like you might experience in another church. What makes it really unique at FBC is when we go, we're going to partner with a church that FBC has a long-term relationship with. So it's not like you're just showing up and doing some service project somewhere. You're meeting up and connecting with people that are our brothers and sisters that have a relationship with FBC and know us. We know them. And I can speak for my wife and I, we've been to the Guadalajara trip a few times and we love the dear brothers and sisters down there. You build these solid relationships our kids have with kids from their church that they stay in touch. Matter of fact, this summer, one of the young ladies from Guadalajara came and spent almost a month at our house because she wanted to stay with her friends because we have built this relationship with them over the years. And that's kind of the big picture goal of FBC missions in general. We want long-term relationships where we are building into each other's lives over years. And so we try to give our youth that experience by once in a while doing these international youth missions where we take them out there and we do some local thing, but we're partnering with a local church. That's the key ingredient in our FBC mission program. Well, this year we're going to do it a little bit different. The idea was, we have, by the way, a youth missions team that Chris Ryder, who was in here, just stepped out. And Natalie Perkins is in here somewhere. Oh, right in front of me. Hi, Natalie. Natalie is our student leader that runs our youth missions team. And so, as they were meeting and from the missions committee, the idea for this year was instead of sending a team on an international youth mission trip somewhere, the idea was how do we do something change it up a little bit and bring youth to us from these various youth churches that we partner with. And so as that idea evolved, it started off with the idea of, well, it's a reverse mission trip. A mission trip, but in reverse. We're bringing people to us. And then that kind of evolved into the idea being, it's going to be a youth missions conference. So if you've been at FBC for any number of years, you're familiar with, we do these mission conferences at FBC every couple of years, where we bring international pastors that we're partnered with to FBC, and we have a week-long thing of events and getting to know these families and having teaching times. Well, we're basically going to model that, but we're going to do it for the youth. So we have already sent out invitations to these churches asking them to send their youth to us, and we're going to have a week-long youth missions conference here in Winchester. So what does that mean? Well, it means a few things. One is, instead of us doing fundraising to try to send a group of our teenagers off to India or off to Mexico or off to Ecuador, we are going to do it the other way. We are going to be raising money to support bringing these youth to us. So we want to fully pay for their full travel expenses, the things that we're going to do while they're here, the service project works, the food, all of those expenses. So our youth group as a whole is going to have all of us on board, all the high schoolers especially, but middle schoolers too, involved in, hey, we want to raise support for bringing as many of the youth from these international churches to Winchester, Virginia as we can for that week. We're going to be looking out here at you all to say we're going to need homes to host these kids that come in. So we want parents of our youth to be host families for the kids that show up. So what are you committing to be a host family? Well, the host family is going to need to be getting them places, bringing them to the church in the morning, picking them up in the evening, maybe feeding them dinner each night and spending the evenings with them and getting to know these kids that come in. And we'll work on how we're going to partner that up. But a lot of it's obvious. If you know, for a high school teenager that comes in from Puebla, Mexico, we're probably going to want to partner them up with a family that has a high school teenager in the house that can build that relationship and spend that week really close to. Okay, so this is going to be the International Youth Missions Conference. It's going to start on July, give me the dates, it just flew out of my head. It's the end of July, July 18th through the 29th. So the kids will be arriving around July 18th and flying back July 29th. The basic structure of that week is going to be when they first get here that weekend, we're going to have some sort of a retreat where we have some time to build relationships between their youth and our youth. So we're going to take all of our youth and somehow, and we've got to work out details on some of this still, but somehow we're going to have a retreat at the very beginning to help build those relationships, overcome some of the language barriers or anything like that, have some fun, but also to kind of prepare ourselves for that week. And then as the week goes on, this is the same week as middle school VBS. So what's going to be going on during the week is in the morning we're going to have training sessions similar to the missions conference. We're going to have, each morning we're going to have training sessions where we're equipping their youth and ours. And right now we're thinking it's going to be, the training time is going to be an apologetics type focus of how do you share, an evangelistic focus of how do you share your faith, how do you engage the world in whatever cultural setting you're coming from, and what are some of the obstacles, and how do we shore up our faith. So each morning there's going to be a couple-hour training session. The afternoons will be a little bit open, so you might go do something fun with your host family, or maybe we'll take all the youth and do something. We might do a few service projects in the afternoon where maybe we identify a project we can go and do for the afternoon for 3-4 hours. And then the evenings we'll be serving here at the church doing the middle school VBS. And so we'll be doing that through the evenings, Monday through Thursday. Friday, we'll probably have a big service project that's going to be an all-day long thing for that Friday. Saturday is going to be a fun day. We're hoping if we raise enough support to take that whole team and maybe go off to a water park, or do, depending on how much support we raise, do something that's just kind of a fun celebration of the week at the end of that time. You know, you're still dealing with teenagers. We still want to have fun and do some things like that. So that will be Saturday. Sunday, attending the worship services here at FBC and spending probably the rest of that day with your host family. And then Monday, people are starting to fly back to their fly back home with their family. So that's the idea of the International Youth Mission Conference. What we're asking for you, and the reason we really want to start getting this information out, and I have to give you at the end, come grab one from me, but we're going to be asking, and we got to figure out some of this and how this is going to work a little bit, but we got to come up with how do we maybe get all of the youth of our youth group involved in helping to raise support to accomplish this Youth Mission Conference. If you do just some simple math, we don't know how many are going to come in yet. We haven't heard and what those numbers, but let's say we got 20 kids coming. Let's say, you know, each ticket, you know, airfare, $1,000 a piece. There's $20,000 right there just in airfare to get these kids here, right? And then if we do some sort of retreat somewhere, we got to pay for facilities. That you got to pay for food for the week. If we do a water park thing, if we do any service projects, that adds up. It adds up pretty quick. So we're really going to have to be all in as a youth group on how do we raise enough support to really do a good job at this and pull it off. And so we're just wanting to get that information out to all of you. We're going to be letting the youth know on Wednesday nights and starting to give them ideas. I'm doing a fundraiser here over the next couple of weeks where I've offered my beard up, and the kids are going to raise money. And depending on which beard style they vote for and raise the most money for, I'm going to have to shave my beard to look like that. I hear so far that half of a face beard is probably going to win. My wife is not happy about that. I don't know how long I have to keep it. A couple of days probably. That I'll have to walk around with whatever beard style the kids vote for. But if you as parents want to vote, you know, if you want to vote for a like cool handlebar shave for me by donating some money to that one, that would be cool too. But we're going to be doing some money just to raise, you know, maybe some fun things. I don't know what exactly all that's going to look like, but I just want it to be on your radar screen. At the end of July, we're going to be doing this International Youth Mission Conference. All right? So,
Any questions on the Chris Ryder? Is he back yet? Oh, he stepped out. Any questions on the Youth Mission Conference? All right. Some of you, I'm looking around the room like, I see the Gaudis here that have been to Guadalajara. You're picturing, you have those relationships with people. So we're hoping to get a lot of those youth and kids that we've met on these trips over the years to come to Winchester. I think it'll be a really neat experience for our youth group.
Yeah, I just have a question, like the role of our kids, our students, in putting it on, and then is that just high school? Like you mentioned serving at the middle school VBS. So for our kids, is it just high school that are helping, or how?
Yeah, well, I think, so if you picture the week, some of these details have to be worked out. So for example, the retreat at the very beginning, depending on how much, like if we opened it up to all middle school, high school, everybody, I mean, we could end up with 150 kids at a retreat, which means we got to rent a huge facility, Pine Creek or, something like that. If we restrict that maybe to just the high schoolers for that portion, but then we open up the morning training sessions to the whole youth group, everybody coming for those, being involved in that. I think opening it up to everybody for the service projects. So it might be similar to the church-wide mission, the big mission conference, where you kind of are part of some things and not part of others. I'm picturing it's going to be similar to that, where we might have a smaller group do one part, and so those are details between Natalie and us and Barry and our youth leadership team. We got to work out. We're going to have to work out those kind of details. So I'm throwing these things out just so you understand the types of things we got to take into consideration when we make those decisions. So, and some of that will be dependent on how much funds we're actually able to raise. The priority is to fly them here. So that's where the funds go first. If we raise more than that, maybe we can do a water park where we have our whole youth group at the end invited to come out. If we don't have enough money for that, then maybe we do something local. We go to Jim Barnett Park and play ultimate frisbee or something. That's where a lot of that will depend. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Will kids from the national churches be coming to you, or just
Good question. I know we sent invitations out to at least one national church, Donna, Texas. We focused mainly on the South American, Mexico, and Southern United States churches. So it's primarily the Hispanic churches that we focus on. It's hard and for us to know, because in order for these kids to come, they've got to get approved for visas. They've got to get approved for travel. So it's not a simple thing, and it's not easy for parents from their churches to get their kids here, and maybe some of the parents that are going to want to come along with them to come to Winchester. So there's a lot of that's kind of up in the air. This is our first time doing this, so be praying about it. That'll be my request for now. Be praying for that, especially because there's so many details that I don't know the answer to and how that's going to all work out. I'm excited about it. It's going to be neat to see what God does with it, but be praying about